Zolf brought his antique smoking pipe all the way from the terminals. Even since the Ura surrendered to us, the marshals kept a wary eye on him. The Ura feared the gods. We turned them into toys, put their faces on our walls. You want to tune a scrap musket, you start with the barrel. Anything survives a musket shot ought to be quick work for that blade. Cinder brick stout sure goes down smooth, then stays in your gut like a rock. The Gravers, the arm of justice, they seemed unstoppable. The Marshals kept the city's peace. They can rest easy now. Zolf's travels ain't much compared to what the kids had to go through for all this. The lost and found. Here, kid takes fragments of the old world and makes them whole again. All it takes is some fragments, and the Bastion makes it good as new. I tried to let the kid down gently. This is the Bastion, all right, except no one else showed up. Folks voyaged across the boundless sea to found Caelondia. It was good living here for a while. The Marshals learned to pack those shells full of fire. War machetes are so quick, you gotta keep a good grip on them. We all lost loved ones in the calamity, he says. I don't know how I'm gonna go on without mine. Kid takes another drag, goes out like a light. Ever tell you how the kid got himself wrapped up in this mess to begin with? hardly had a moment's rest since all this started. Fair to say he's led a hard life, supposing what he says in his sleep ain't no lie. Mama to take care of. Frail thing with pure white hair like his. His mama's hair did the kid no favors while he was growing up, but he learned to hold his own out there. School ain't working out, so the kid signs up for a turn on the rippling walls. Make his mama some money. Thanks to folks like the kid, the walls kept Ceylondia safe from whatever's out there. The elements, the Ura, you name it. Once the kid done his time, he hurried on home. Turns out his mama's time was done too. The city had nothing for him. The money he'd been sending home was nowhere to be found either. kid do? Why, he went right on back to the walls for another 5 years. History of Ceylondia, nobody's ever volunteered for a second shift on the walls. Kid learn to fend for himself, learn to build, learn to break. Good standing with the marshals. They trusted him to scout out farther than anybody. The ground beneath him shuddered, cracked, and split apart. What was I saying? Anyway. He saw nothing where the world used to be. The calamity happened just like that. Kid had to work with was his hammer and the clothes on his back. twisted streets, he ran with nothing but the city crest and an old stranger's voice to guide him. Arrived at Zealandia's vaunted safe haven. He and no one else. But then, all he got was more thankless work from a man who ain't even asked his name. Sure, I may be the one who dreamt up the walls and the Bastion, but the kid made them real, not me. Past don't matter for nothing now. Fetching fizz is like a mouthful of nails, but the benefits are worth it. That ought to make those fangs sink in nice and deep. The Langston River flowed free and wild till the calamity drank it all up. Maybe all that water just grew wings and flew off. Riverbanks swarming with windbags. They're so bent on finding the core, they hardly notice the kid. Lucky for him, a certain famous ferry barge is still afloat. She sends some squirts crying home as she leaves port. Maybe Nellie knows the way to the core. Maybe she can slip right past all the clamor on the coast. Or maybe not. A security skiff pulls up portside. Nellie's just another windbag to those guns. Just then, the windbags notice who she's sailing with. They try to cut her off. They try to slow her down. They try to knock her out. Well, Weepin' Nellie tries harder. Try as she might, though, she hits a snag. Kid's gotta help her get untangled. Favors for favors. Picked a good spot for a break, 'cause the core's right there. Then the kid hears an unusual sound, like 100 flapping wings. They've been watching his every move. Peckers. They have their own eyes on the core. But why? Well, kid ain't got time to think it over just yet. He finds Weepin' Nellie raring to go. Turns out she's got a special surprise for when the waters get rough. Traffic things think they're king of the roost now. Rest of us only wish we could fly in times like these. Securing the skiffs keep on coming, starboard side. Don't seem to care what they shoot, as long as they hit something. The windbags are getting even better around here. They aim to smash wind nails to splinters. Kid almost falls again. They don't know the kid's just trying to help. Or maybe they don't care. Well, it all proves too much for poor Nellie. She's just gotta make one last stop. With her last breath, Nellie gets the kid to solid ground. Solid ground in Picker country. They want that core real bad. Might be they want it just as bad as a kid. Kid shoes him off, knowing they'll be back. Know how many times kid nearly fell off the barge back there? 3 times. Now, listen close. You should remember this next part. Why go to Prosper Bluff? Used to take an enterprising man or a plain old fool to venture out that far. The city was the most beautiful place in the world. We all knew that. But on the other hand, some folks just yearn to see the things they're told they can't. And that's why you go to Prosper Bluff, ain't it? The other kid hears something he ain't heard in a long while. How's it go again? Yeah, that's the one. next, right? Suffice it to say, kid ain't coming home empty-handed. And besides, it's like the song goes.
Someday your bird is gonna fly.
They'll be here before too long. We darn near celebrated when the kid got back, didn't we? Zolf never thought he'd see a fellow or again. We become fast friends. Calamity has that effect on people. But there was more to be done. There was one last core to find.